To the recap, take a look, read it thoroughly. What up, everybody? My name is Scott, the Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap. Sorry I didn't do a midday call. It's a time of year actually when I have all my licenses and I have to do the continuing education. So I was stuck from about 11:30 till 3 o'clock doing CEs. Anyway, I did it. While I was doing that, I was watching the market, and to be honest, it wasn't a whole heck of a lot going on. I came in today thinking, a lot of the ETFs will fill their gaps. Maybe you could, if you were long yesterday, sell into the gap fill. Maybe short once it's filled if it does a push. I went over areas to potentially, to look at, and it was a very specific trade. Some names went from up to red and lower. So you had a few green to red trades for cute cash flow, which we did talk about in the morning call. Some things held up better than others. Some things were just choppy. And to me, there's not a whole heck of a lot to do, which I just tweeted to you guys before overnight. At least anything really new. So let's just get into it. Here's the S&P cash. Yesterday, you had your bottom tail at 3070. 3111 was the gap fill. I actually showed you where the 8-day was, which was resistance, and that was what 3119. That's your new point of reference. 3119 was today's high. So a big, pretty big move from yesterday's low to today's high. So, at this point, I don't know. Now I can get rid of this gap because it's filled. You can get rid of this because it doesn't matter as much anymore. Push through it, and now the question is, all right, what's next here? So now you have today's low. Okay, actually, you could probably keep this still. That matters somewhat. And then what's today's low? Today's low is 3102. So now we'll see if it holds 3102 tomorrow. Definitely, we could get some packing and filling. Like if we were gapped up tomorrow, I would think that we could probably fade it. Again, from where we were to here. If we gap down or we're softer, maybe we could buy verse here. This is your, new level. This is support. This is now resistance, and I guess you could say there's a little bit of a gap below it that it could fill if it wants to. It's not a big one. It's like 7 handles. I don't need to, I guess, have both of these here anymore. It's a little noisy. We're still on the right side of this trend line, and so from 3154 down to 3070, bounce back up pretty much middle of that range. So now we'll see, does it get tight in here and create some kind of bigger wedge, which I'm not going to draw yet. SPYs, again, what did it do? Gapped up, filled it, pushed a little bit into the 8-day, which was a high of 3212. On the VTF, we talked about shorting 3212 to 3240. I did not. I actually shorted the IWMs and made a little peanuts, but I covered it. This is your new point of reference here. This is now meaningless because it's already filled. This is already filled, so we can get rid of this also. And now what's today's low? Today's low is 310.32, so 310.32 will be tomorrow's point of reference. Do we stay above it and digest and then potentially go? Does the range tighten up at this point? This is all we have. Might as well move this over a little bit. I guess you could say, again, this is now your inside range. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Does it open above this? Does it open within this? Does it open below this? I don't know. At this point, this moves up a little bit, the 50-day. Still on the right side of this trend. We're no longer oversold. We're probably back to neutral. On the constructive side, you have the IBB. I drew this yesterday. Thank goodness we dissected that move. It was strong. I was just looking for a move back to the 8-day. So thank goodness we covered it. I actually made money. I kept the premiums. I did not flip long. This did do a red dog reversal. So I'll give you a clue to get out of the way. And that was right here. Okay, and that was where? Was that 1777? What was this low here? Yeah, 1777. So hopefully you covered and got away from it. Well, ultimately, this sector looks like it's going to be breaking to above this and be a nice little play for 2020. So don't just try and look for surgical shorts. Stick with the trend. The trend has been strong above the 8-day moving average. I just tried to be extra cute here, and if I didn't, if I didn't adjust, I definitely would be rolling it up, and I'd be pissed, and I'd be losing money. But I'm not. IWM, pretty nice that it's back above this area. Yeah, I'd say at this point, I wouldn't look at it as just as a breakout failure. It's kind of in the middle of the range here from the high of last week to the low of yesterday. So we'll see what's next. It's not really that compelling, but let's see if it could stay above this for a little bit and prove that it can go higher. I would say more constructive than bearish. What didn't have a feeble bounce, I actually showed some relative strength today. I made some surgical money shorted, but nothing so fantastic. As far as stocks, I didn't come in long Apple. I tweeted to you guys when I went long Apple, I won like 261.50, and I actually had a nice little day trade. But at this point, it filled the gap and came off it, and I don't have anything overnight. I don't see any real reason to be in it overnight. It was a nice trade though, intraday. And what was my target? My target was to fill this gap, and it just about did. Where did it go to? As high as 263.31. I think I tweeted to you guys at 263.20. So now we'll see what, let it pack and fill. There's no FOMO of breaking out. Here is your bottom tail, a little bit of follow through. It's not so weak because it closed this gap. And now you can almost get this out of the way too. This means a little bit of nothing. Now you have to just open the range up. 263.31 is now today's high to use for tomorrow. Again, we'll have to see how this rebuilds. I don't know if this will show the 1 day, I don't know if I can through that, but it was a nice day trade. Nice day trade. Sometimes that's all it is a day trade. It doesn't always have to be a 3-4 day trade, especially when you're not sure. And I'm not sure right now. I'm just looking for tactical trades. I had a 2-day drawback, after a really nice move in general for the quarter. And now I made some decent money today, and I'm going to play it by ear. See what happens in here. See what happens. Amazon, I'm pretty proud of myself, and hopefully some of you guys made some good money. A lot of people were happy that I said I'm just going to take the trade. Amazon's been lethargic. It's showing relative weakness. Yesterday, the midday call, I went long right before it, and I was like, I'm in it. We'll see what happens. It closed pretty well, and then today it was up 10 bucks. I'm like, you know what? I'm taking some off, which I talked about in the morning call, and then, when I pulled a little bit off highs around 1780, I'm like, you know what? I'm just taking the trade. It's a nice 25-point trade again within a 2-day time horizon, and then it got rejected at the moving averages. Went through 1782, came back below. That was my little advertisement to get out of the way. And then once it went back below, you could have even used 1772 to get out of it. Now this is a lower high, red dog reversal sell. So it was just a day trade. This one was a nice 3-day trade into here, and then this time a nice little day and a half trade. And now I don't know. I don't know if it means they're going to let it break down this time of year, or just a whole lot of nothing. But it's definitely not something that it's worthy of sitting in. And if you sat in it too long, you gave back your money from yesterday. And I'm glad we booked it. It was one of my better trades. Anyway, 1783 area. That's where the resistance was. Got a little bit through and then got rejected. Google. Wow. Very, what's the word? Impressive. Little red dog reversal yesterday. They liked the fact that, I guess the new CEO from Google versus Alphabet. A little bit off highs, traded through here. I'm not in this. I haven't been really trading this one well, so I guess I wasn't just going to buy it today in the gap up. I think people were kind of lucky the way it responded to the news, and people didn't get caught. 1324. Is it a candidate to make new highs again? It is. It's not that many out there, but again, be careful. 2-day move, still a little choppy. This is the prior high. It's still $10 away from that. I guess it's 1311. It's a little bit, it's a little less. I don't know what's the word. Relevant now. This is 1322. Now you'll see, does it hold this gap up? I guess. You draw this like this. Whatever this low is here, does it hold this, and then maybe rebuild for a little bit of sideways action for it to get above that? That could happen. See how it goes tomorrow. If you're in it from the red dog reversal, stay in it. If you bought the close today, just be careful. There's not a lot of things breaking out. Facebook also, is a better sell than a buy. This is what I talked about this morning. Facebook broke, blah, 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 blah. If you took some home, I trim into the open, not add. That doesn't mean it's easy short, but there might be a cute green to red trade. Hey, look at that. It was green, went to red. So there are some things to do scalp-wise. Now we'll see what happens tomorrow. A bit of a lower high. It's still hanging around better than in Amazon or some others, but not really compelling to take it home from here to here. Now tomorrow, if it opens lower, maybe it's a buy. If it opens up, maybe it's a sell. I don't know. Not so great. BABA, I said the same thing also. Came off lows and still acts well. It's above 195. I trim it if you're long because I had a big move from yesterday's lows, and maybe some of you sold it. Now I don't know. I did come in long LK, and I sold some strength, and then if you would have used this as your momentum, listen, we have momentum rules. Remember the momentum rules. If a stock opens up above a momentum level and can't hold it, just sell it or reduce or adjust. If it goes red, especially when the market's strong, you sell it and you adjust. If it breaks below a prior low, then maybe you get out. So at this point, it couldn't hold here and it couldn't hold there. That was my reason to get out. Is it still okay where it's above this? Yes, but loose and wide action, different. Here was a controlled pullback and then looked good, and then this just negated almost that day. So just be careful. I don't think say it's over. It's a very volatile name, but again, couldn't hold this, and that was your sell. And then it went red, and that was your sell. Now you'll see. If it's in your IRA from here or here, they don't care. But as a trader, you care. PTON, I guess, kind of held around here. Traded through, came back above. Probably needs time to hang in here. What did work do? I'm not sure. It came out. I did tweet to you guys that I bought the 22.5 calls for like $1.10 just to be involved. The second public earnings report, you would think they'd have their act together. Doesn't mean they do. If they miss, I'll lose my premium. If they actually get their stuff together, I'll make some money. If they really miss, maybe tomorrow we could buy it versus a low. I don't know what it's doing now. We'll see. This is the level that it needs to get above and stay above if the report is solid enough, and then maybe you can get to here, and that would be good for our options. If it misses and goes below this, risk is premium paid, and we'll see. So in conclusion, kind of happy to be a little bit of risk off. I don't have any compelling longs or shorts. I have no hedges on because I don't really have a lot of longs on. I still have a lot of the wellness names, which I plan on only buying weakness for the next few weeks. And granted, if this SNDL breaks this and gets to like 150, it'll hurt my P&L, but chances are I'll have a lot more, and if it winds up coming back up to this range, which I think it can in January, February, we'll make a lot more money. ACB, kind of same thing. It's hanging in here. If it breaks it, it'll hurt short term, but I think long term we'll have more, and then we'll see. But again, this is a concept play that might take a few weeks. That if you can't do that, then don't. If you day trade, if you don't take overnights, then don't. These are not day trades. These are a concept play that I'm only buying on weakness. CGC really didn't do much today, kind of hanging in there. I'm not going to treat this as a concept play. If this breaks 1760, I'm going to sell it. This was more of a real trade where move up, go sideways, maybe it can go and lead. It didn't do it yet, so we'll see. I'm only holding the other three, and willing to just buy them lower. I feel like the floor is less. There's less room to zero than this. Anyway, we'll see. So with that said, it's 4:22. I'm going to post some charts. Got to get going, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a good night.